Good morning, campers, and I am just leaving Shaw's Hiker Hostel. Just got dropped off by Poet, and starting down the trail here. And it's a nice day right now. It's supposed to warm up though. It's supposed to get in the upper 80s. At least the heat index is going to be around 90. And I'm going to try to go 15.1 miles today to the third shelter. The terrain doesn't look too bad. So that's my goal, 15.1 miles, I think. So I'm going to have to get moving. It's 8:45 already. We got kind of a late start. And it's going to warm up, like I said, and that slows me down. But I got water. I have 8 days worth of food, but it's very light food. A lot of dehydrated, a lot of freeze-dried stuff. How do I look? I got new shoes, new calf sleeves, and new gaiters. About the 100-mile wilderness. So it used to be that the 100-mile wilderness was a 100-mile stretch, of course, that had no services, no towns, no roads, other than old logging roads. And that warning sign was telling hikers, hey, you know, for the next 100 miles, you're on your own, basically. You better have enough supplies to get through this section, especially if you're going, you know, early or late in the season when the weather could turn on you. You know, here it is, it's the first week of August, so not worried about that. So I plan to get through it in 7 days. I have 8 days of food, but my food is very light. It's all dehydrated, well, mostly dehydrated or freeze-dried stuff. I don't have heavy stuff like peanut butter. I don't have any olive oil with me. I have, like, you know, mashed potatoes, stuff you have to add water to. I do have one or two protein bars per day. I'm trying to make sure I get enough protein and calories because I've lost 32 pounds. And for those of you who know me, you know I didn't have 32 pounds to lose. So I'm kind of, I'm losing like a quarter pound a day or something like that. 4 ounces a day. So if that holds up, then by the time I get out the other end, I'll have lost another 2 pounds. I started at 184. I was 152 when I weighed myself at the hostel. And if I lose another 2 pounds, it'll be 150 I'll be down to. So my strategy is to hike a little bit longer each day than I normally do. You know, get up early, make as most use of the daylight hours as I can. And rather than try to get into camp like 4 or 5 o'clock to make sure I get a good tent site, I'm thinking of going more to like 6 or 7 o'clock and trying to find a stealth site if there's no convenient shelter. I don't want to have to push myself to get to a particular shelter by, you know, before dark. I want to be flexible enough that I can camp wherever I want, as long as there's a water source nearby. And from what I've been told, there's lots of stealth spots all throughout the 100-mile wilderness. So that's my strategy. Get up early, start, you know, pack up as fast as I can, and start hiking. Not fast, not pushing myself, not going to hike any harder. I'm just going to hike a little bit longer, maybe an extra 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours per day. But you know, that could be an extra 3-4 miles, 3-4-5 miles maybe, depending on the terrain. And I'm hoping that'll add up over the course of the week. You know, if I do an extra, even just 3 miles a day over 7 days, that's an extra 21 miles, right? If I do an extra 4 miles a day, that's an extra 28 miles. So that'll get me into A-Ball Bridge. Ideally, I'd love to get there Thursday evening. So first thing Friday morning, I can sign up for the Birches campsite, hike the 9 miles to the Birches, spend Friday night there, Saturday morning, the 13th of August, summit, Katahdin. I might not make it. I may need to get to A-Ball Bridge on Friday instead, reserve the birches for Saturday night. It's summit on Sunday. I had originally wanted to summit on the 13th because it's the 1 year anniversary of my dad's death, but it's a Saturday, and if the weather's nice, there will be a lot of day hikers up there, and it'll just be kind of busy and crowded, and it won't be kind of the peaceful experience I was hoping for. But you know, a lot of things are out of my control. The weather this week, that could slow me down if there's a big storm. I don't want to be hiking in a heavy rainfall, so I would kind of hunker down until the storm passed. Katahdin, who knows? Get to Katahdin, you don't know what the weather's going to be like. It could be beautiful in the morning, and you think, sweet, I lucked out. Then you get up there, and clouds have rolled in, obscuring your view. So it's a real crapshoot. I can't spend a lot of time just waiting around for the weather to be perfect. You know, as long as it's safe, as long as it's dry, as long as it's not raining, and it hasn't rained like the night before, then I'll probably just have to go for it. And you know, it is what it is. If I don't have good views, if it's just all white in the background, just fog, okay, then that's what it is. I've been so lucky so far with the whites and the presidentials and the weather. So, you know, if Katahdin's not perfect, you know, like I said, it is what it is. I have to get home. I have to take a break, clean and repair and replace gear, just kind of decompress, eat some real food for a few days, and then get back down Rockfish Gap. And I have to coordinate with my wife and dog sitters and everything, so some things are out of my control. Anyway, that's my plan, and we'll see how it works out over the next week. So another thing I'll mention, as you saw, I have brand new shoes, new Ultra Lone Peak, the anniversary edition. Everyone was commenting, they're like, whoa, what shoes are those? I said, Ultra Lone Peaks. They're like, I've never seen those. I said, yeah, it's the anniversary edition. I also have new calf sleeves, the crazy fluorescent orange. And I have new gaiters, which is the cosmic, you know, look. They didn't have the same gaiters I had before in my size anymore. They were out of them. So I just decided to get these because I like space and astronomy and stuff. So anyway, just to elaborate on my strategy, it's not to go fast. Like I said, I want to just set a nice, comfortable pace where I'm not huffing and puffing. I'm not sweating profusely. That's one reason why I switched back to this shirt, which is polyester. It's a Patagonia shirt. I think that merino wool shirt is it was just retaining too much body heat, and today and tomorrow it's supposed to be in the 80s and humid, and then Monday the humidity and temperature are finally supposed to drop. But for the next 48 hours it's going to be a little sticky and yucky. So just gonna plug along. If I feel myself really starting to sweat, I'm going to slow down. I'm going to take some breaks every 15 minutes and drink some water to rehydrate, and just stop hiking. Just stand still for a minute. You know, let my heart rate come down, let my breathing slow down, and then continue. If it gets buggy, I got my bug head net in my pouch here. I can whip that out. And if it's real bad, I have a hat with a brim that goes all the way around, a boonie hat I bought from Amazon and had shipped to the hostel. It looks goofy, but it will help keep the bug net away from my face, you know, so it's not like clinging to the side of my face. It'll keep it several inches away from my skin. Keep the bugs away. So that's my strategy. Just nice, even pace. Try to enjoy as much as I can. Take photos. It's supposed to be one of the most beautiful stretches of trail. I'm looking forward to it. I just hope the weather holds up. Okay, I'm 1 hour into my hike, and as is my habit, I check my coordinates, see how far I've come, get an idea what my pace is. 2.3 miles. So that's great. I don't need to push myself past that, certainly. It's been fairly easy hiking. I am starting to break a sweat, but that's just the conditions. It's warming up. It's a little humid. There's no wind. Very, very, very little wind at all. But the good thing is there's no bugs either. I only heard one bug buzz past my ear in the past hour, so I don't have to cover up until I start getting bit. If I start getting bit. So that's good news. There's a shelter about 7/10 of a mile up ahead. I may stop there, have a little hydration break, sign the register, then just push on. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on breaks today. Just little mini breaks. No sit down for a half hour, unless I have to filter water, which I probably will. About halfway through, I'll have to filter water. I only have 1.5 liters. So, and going 15 miles, I'm gonna need more than 1.5 liters of water, especially if it gets really hot today. So I have to be cognizant of that. You know, somewhere around mile 7 or 8, filter some more water, and finish off the day with, you know, another 1.5 liters, 2 liters, whatever it takes. Okay, 2 hours in, I've got 3.9 miles. So just a shade under 2 miles an hour average, which is great. And that includes about a 20-minute break at the last shelter, which was 3 miles in from where I started. I didn't mean to spend 20 minutes there, but I started reading the register, seeing a lot of names of people I knew, and it was, you know, kind of fun seeing what date they had been there and kind of calculating in my head, you know, are they at Katahdin yet? Have they summited? You know, are they still in the 100-mile wilderness and whatnot? So that was kind of cool. And also reading, you know, people's comments. Everyone's excited. Everyone's like, I can't believe I'm in the 100-mile wilderness. You know, it's only a week to 10 days away to be at Katahdin. You know, depending on their pace. Sometimes less. Some people will be through here in 5 days. But anyway, so I read comments. I had a snack and drank a little water. Took my pack off. Left some tattoos. Signed the register myself. And wrote a quote from John Muir that my wife, Michelle, hi honey, included in my last resupply box, which was, you are not in the mountains. The mountains are in you. So here's an old dirt road, possibly an old logging road. I'm guessing roads like that are where they will meet you with your food drops. Not that particular one, but farther up there are roads like that, really sort of remote, rugged, unpaved roads that cars don't drive on normally. So they probably bring a four-wheel vehicle up here and drop off the food and meet you with your food. Again, I'm not doing that. My pack weighs 29.5 pounds. That's how much it weighed on the scale. And they had a pretty good scale. They had one of those scales like you see at the doctor's office, where you stand on the little plate and then they slide the weights back and forth. And my pack weighed 29.5 pounds, and that included 1.5 liters of water. So 1.5 liters of water weighs 3.3 pounds. Let's call it 3.5. So out of 29.5 pounds, 3.5 pounds of it was water. So take away the water, that's 26 pounds. Well, I also weighed my food bag yesterday, and it was pretty much right on the nose, 10 pounds. So 26 pounds minus 10 pounds is 16. That means my base weight is 16 pounds, which is pretty good, all things considered. And that includes carrying an extra trekking pole. See it sticking out there? In case one of mine break in the 100-mile wilderness. I do not want to try to get through the 100 miles with only one pole. So if I have another pole incident, I'm good to go. I got a backup. So I think that's great, actually. I'm starting the 100-mile wilderness with less than 30 pounds on my back. Just not, you know, barely. But it's good. So by Tuesday, I should be 25 pounds, I would think. So just got to get through today, tomorrow, and Monday. And then my pack will be getting lighter every day. And those last few days, I'll really be able to really hike when the trail gets easier. It gets smoother after the chairbacks and after Whitecap Mountain. Then I'll really be able to move along without straining myself or forcing myself or pushing myself. It'll just be easier walking. And I'll naturally just be able to do higher miles. I'm looking to do 18 to 20 miles at least the last 2 days, maybe even the last 3. It just depends on where I wind up by Tuesday. Okay, I'm 3 hours into the hike. I've covered 5.6 miles. It's about a 1.9 mile an hour pace, roughly. So it's gotten steamy. There's no wind, so I'm sweating. And there's a lot of tricky stuff right now with roots and rocks and going up and down these small hills, and I have to be careful. So I'm thinking 2 miles an hour is kind of like that would be top speed through this. For me, anyway, which I won't be able to maintain that, but that's fine. I am going to take a break when I get to about the halfway point, 8 mile mark. So about 2.5 miles, or a little over an hour. So it's 11:45, probably around 1 o'clock. I'll stop. I'll have my tabbouleh that's been cold soaking since last night. It was in the refrigerator overnight, and I added a little more water this morning, stirred it up good. So that should be ready to go, ready to eat. And I will eat that about 1 o'clock. And then I'll take another break at about the 12 mile mark or so. I'll do my third little break, little snack break. And then, like I said, at 15 miles, I'll be at the shelter, and that'll be a pretty good day, especially because I got a late start, number one. Number two, I'm carrying the heaviest pack on this leg of the trip, 8 days worth of food, and it'll be a good spot to have a privy, have some, camp sites, tent sites. There's not really a good water source there from what I've heard, so I'm gonna have to collect some water about a mile before it and carry a fair amount of water, probably at least 4, maybe 5 liters of water carried into camp. So it'll be 8 to 10 pounds of water. That's awesome. So back there, the trail comes upon the top of a waterfall, and it's like very flat, and there's like little pools of water, and there's people up there on top waiting around, and there's the girls who were at that camp the other night, not swimming, but getting wet in the water and laying out in the sun. And so I crossed. I thought I saw the trail on the other side. I didn't see a blaze, but it looked like a trail on the other side. So I crossed the waterfall, and some of the rocks were wet and so slippery. It was like stepping on a piece of greased glass. My foot hit the rock and went whoosh. My foot went right in the water, so pretty much both my feet got soaked. And then I found out, oh no, that's not the trail. It doesn't cross the water until down here. So if this is a dry crossing up ahead, I'm gonna be like, damn it, I got my feet wet for no reason. But it's all right. It's clean water, and cool off my feet a little bit, I guess. So there's a blaze, and the trail comes down from up there, which is how I should have come by. I somehow missed a turn, and I wound up way back in there, up in there somewhere, and I saw I was off trail, so I started bushwhacking my way down the steep hill, the spongy material that was very difficult to walk on, pushing through pine needles and trees, cut my way back over here up this hill and back over to where you see me now. And there's a blaze there, and there's a blaze there. So I'm back on the trail, but I am drenched with sweat now. That was a lot of work coming down this green spongy stuff. Let me see if I can show you. This, I don't know if this is going to be spongy as the stuff I was on. No, that was not too bad. But you can kind of get an idea how spongy that is. Very difficult walking, so note to self, you know, if you get off trail, just backtrack. Don't try bushwhack your way back. Good God, that was tough. I'm exhausted. This is interesting. Instead of cutting this tree to get it out of the way, they just painted a blaze on it to let you know, yep, you're still on the trail. Jeez, thanks guys. Just leaving the Wilson Valley lean-to. I'll take a little break. I had to filter some water and have a snack and make a decision about where I'm camping tonight. The shelter where I was going to go, which is 4.7 miles away, it says there aren't good tenting options, or it says the tenting options are poor. So, but there are some good stealth sites just before there, just a few tenths of a mile before there. So I'm thinking I'll check those out, and if those look good, I'll just camp there. And it's actually next to a waterfall. It's between a waterfall and a pond. So there'll be running water, and that might give me some white noise at night, and might be nice hearing that. So, and it won't be that far from, yeah, see, here we go. Long Pond Stream lean-to, right there, 4.7 miles. So I'm going to go to the pond, and then between the pond and the waterfalls is where the stealth spots are, and I'll check those out. And if they look good, I'll probably take the ones the farthest up, because that'll be the closest to the shelter. So in the morning, after I get ready, I can go up and use the privy on my way out. So that's my plan. Camp somewhere near the water, stealth site, quiet, go to bed early, get up early, get on the trail. Big day tomorrow. I'm going to be tackling the chairbacks, and it's going to be hot and humid again. I'm not looking forward to that. I'm just going to be drenched. I'm drenched as it is now. I'm not even working that hard. So there's Long Pond Stream. So there's supposed to be good stealth camping somewhere between there and the falls, which are 7/10 of a mile farther up the trail. So I'm going to keep going, keep my eyes open, look for those spots, make a mental note, and when I get to the falls, I'll backtrack a little bit to the next, the previous one that was the best. And here's some right here. So, yeah, right across from the falls. So, anyway, good to keep in mind. I'll keep going. Someone put 100 on the trail. I guess that means we're 100 miles from Katahdin. Okay, I picked my spot, and it's a spot I passed up at first. I kept going, thinking there might be better spots up closer to the waterfall. I got about 2/10 of a mile up there, and it's just started getting, it was going uphill because it's going to a waterfall. I said, I'm too tired and sweaty at the end of the day. So here's what I picked. It's a lovely spot here, very big. Plenty of room for probably several tents. I think I'm going to pitch right over here. This seems to be the most level spot right here. And I have the creek here as my water source. Nice little pool. I could go wading in or soak my feet in there. Not deep enough to swim, but this is home sweet home for today. So I gotta get going, gotta set things up, make dinner, eat dinner, clean up, do all that good stuff. The only problem is I don't have a privy, but that's okay. I'll hike up the trail in the morning, use the privy up by the camp. Hopefully I can hold it till then. Those little fish are like nibbling at my feet. I think they're like trying to get the dead skin off or something. That's pretty funny. They're all over the place. Look at them all. Those little fishies swimming around my feet. Well, it's almost time to go to bed, 7:30. I went down to the water, soaked my feet for a little bit. You saw the fish. And rinsed out my bandana. and the water was like milky because of all the sweat, the salt. So I was using the bandana to wipe my head all day, my face. So it was just full of salt in my sweat. And then I also, here I'll show you, I rinsed out my t-shirt as well, and that's hanging up to dry. I'll probably move it. This is not a good spot for it to dry. I don't think any of this stuff is really going to dry very well. I got my socks and my gaiters and my calf sleeves all on this tree, like a little Christmas tree. Everything's hanging up, trying to dry a little bit overnight. We'll see how it does. Probably not very well. So I'm going to clean up my eating pot and brush my teeth and get in bed. And just to show you again, I've got the trekking poles here holding the doors open. I got them staked out. I can tighten this up if I want to, like that. Bugs are starting to come out, so I got to get in the tent. But that's it. That's my night. First night in the 100-mile wilderness. I did 14.4 miles instead of 15.1 because I didn't go all the way to the shelter. But tomorrow's going to be a little bit shorter day because it's a hard day. I have to do the chair backs. It's probably going to be about a 12-mile day, but it's going to be tough 12 miles. So I want to get going around 7, unlike this morning when it was almost 9 before I got going. So that's it for the night.